Good afternoon, everybody. Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Here.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Here.
Mayor LaBrus.
Here.
This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6 et sec. Notice having been published according to law with a copy on file in the city clerk's office and a copy posted on the bulletin board in City Hall.
Thank you. Would everybody please rise for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. Like I said, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our special council meeting where we're doing our goal setting for the year 2019. And with that, I'll turn it over to our city manager, Ted.
Good afternoon. I want to thank the public and also all the department heads who are going to attend this meeting today. Goal setting, I think, is an important factor for the city because in one of these slides it shows what measure gets done. The city of Hackensack, to make sure that we are following our procedures, staying within budget, enhancing our improvements, and also our services to the residents, we need to basically keep a check of that. By setting these goals and measuring them, we obviously can set a standard that we're working towards. No one's perfect, but we always can be better. So the city is working towards that goal. So let me put these glasses on. For the purpose of goal setting meeting, this is to justify the goals of the city and the betterment of the city. Prioritize supply goals and importance with the focus of safety concerns of the residents. To fund the goals and maintain the budget. To achieve the goal, our finances, and keep them in check. I think that before we move to 2019 goals, I'd like to just review what got accomplished in 2018. From our auditing department, long-term debt management, asset management plan, reduce workers' comp, implement safety training for employees, improve health benefits offering for employees. Building department, create a rent stabilization board, additional staff to accommodate redevelopment, additional computers for staff. City clerk, addition to the file room, off-site storage updates to reduce monthly fees for the third floor. Security, hire a part-time employee to assist with Oprah request. Cultural arts, outdoor programs for Atlantic Street Park, create a summer events brochure, Shakespeare in the Park, expand and include fall productions, open the gallery space at the HPAC. Naming rights were secured for the hospital for Hackensack Meridian Health Theater, hired additional part-time staff, update fee schedule. Fire department, replace the fencing at headquarters, replace all the windows at headquarters, purchase a new fire rescue truck, purchased 3 new Tahoes. One is a command vehicle, fire prevention vehicle, AFG grant received to obtain thermal imaging cameras, and the bailout devices. Health department, educating and encourage community involvement done through Stigma Free and Hackensack Municipal Alliance employees wellness programs. 2 for employees, 28 for the public, flu clinic. Johnson Public Library, adding evening hours for the children's department, online payment of late and lost books. Municipal court, implementation of credit cards, update video conferencing. Parking authority, purchase 6 new parking enforcement vehicles. Police department, purchase new police vehicles, in-car camera, settled sergeant's FOP contract. Public works, lower department's cost, decrease overtime hours, create an educational fund, improved employees' morale, per diem employees for snow season, purchased a front load garbage truck, sewer jet truck, and 4 Magnum light towers. Project managers, streetscape curbing, cleanup, Vashini baseball fields, police roof, adopt the island beach street lights, information technology, increased website involvement. Some of the other goals that were accomplished: salt dome, fuel depot. These were both shared services with Bergen County, a vac truck, community host agreement for Hackensack Meridian Health volunteer ambulance service roof was repaired, drug-free school zone maps, fulfilled position of police director, upgrades sewer pipes at 39 Broadway. What we are working on and in play, a new location for our building department, codification of our municipal code, fire headquarters apparatus floor drain grates, and support structures for 911 Memorial. Health Department, soil remediation, which is a cleanup of the Hackensack Fire Department facility. It's a groundwater issue. Johnson Library, installation of basement sprinkler system, municipal court, additional court dates, promote and train personnel, train for personnel department as well as department heads. Police department, police radio system, and which would also include the fire department. Public Works, installation of community gardens. Project manager, Carver Park tennis court repair. Street paving, drainage, sewer cleaning, Atlantic Street parking garage rehab, combined sewer separation. Recreation, Johnson turf field replacement, Columbus playground, redesign of after-school programs, holding fundraising events on hold to the new M&M buildings completed, which hopefully we'll get to use mid-year. Redevelopment, formalize the Office of Redevelopment, downtown arts and creative placemaking, beautification of Main Street, cross streets, and Anderson Street, Linden Street, Johnson Park, greenhouse, and ordinance updates. Tax assessor, less tax appeals refunds, minimum tax impact increases, proper fund for large amounts of appeals. Councilwoman Von Rudenberg's goals: development of working relationship between the city and the Board of Education, utilize open space with the community gardens, and adopt a spot program. Councilman Battaglia's goals: tax relief for residents, PSE&G improvements for infrastructure, sewer paving safety issues. Deputy Mayor Sims, sewer system monthly cleaning programs, park improvements, Johnson, Carver, Stibe, dog park, tennis courts, basketball courts, bathrooms, and field improvements. Deputy Mayor Catastrino, financial stability, improved city services, streets, sewers, parks, recreation, cultural arts, developing mixed-use projects in our downtown in close proximity to the train station, bring maximum revenue into the city. Mayor LaBrosse, his goals are create an executive board for the HPAC, focus more on green space for the city. Parking layouts are long-term financial plans and public accessibility, work to lower our insurance cost. And the city manager, continue to earn the trust of the public and the employees, support staff initiatives, goals and training, complete all 10 goals established from the action of the meeting on the 20th. Two-way conversion of Main Street, stormwater flooding investigation, enhanced radio system for police and fire, digital mapping for tax maps. Our new goals for 2019. Our auditing department, seek the increase in our credit ratings. Use surplus policy as a tool for long-term tax relief. This will be discussed on the 26th at our next meeting. Adopt a long-term financial plan to address flooding issues. Our building department. Add large monitors for the inspections to be able to read plans digitally. Hire additional staff to make the department more efficient. We try to match the needs of our demands for redevelopment with the appropriate amount of inspectors to make sure that we have coverage. Switch from the Mitchell-Humphreys to spatial data, which is a more efficient program for tracking, digitize documents, and archive them. Our city clerk. Codification of municipal code. Security guard at the front lobby entrance to monitor those who come in and out of the city for city business and to use the third floor. Security cameras of the clerk's office front desk. reevaluate all the panic alarms buttons within the building of the city, as well as regular testing once the buttons are, and make sure that they're wired and operating correctly. Culture Arts Department. Install hearing impaired assisted living systems. Refurbish the kitchen at the HPAC. Improve our point of sale system. Have a monitoring system for the green room and dressing room. Expand the fundraising through program ads as well as planned gala once the highlights and honor contributions to the arts. Hold a summer program for young adults and children. Have a projector for the HPAC to show movies and enhance live events. Add technical employees with strong expertise in lighting and sound. Fire Department. 2019. Contract out for installation of new elevator for the Emergency Operating Center. Complete construction of the 911 Memorial in Fire Headquarters, which is in front of the building. Purchase the 90 bailout systems. They're leads that allow firemen to escape. They're like a rope lead if they were on the second floor. Continue training our new firefighters to EMT level. Currently we have 25. Replace the apparatus floor at Engine 5. Major repair to Engine 5 exterior siding and roof. Fix sinkholes and repave side parking lot at Fire Headquarters. Remediate contamination soil under Fire Headquarters apparatus floor. Purchase 6 new thermal imaging cameras to replace outdated models. Fund a private fiber optic network installation for the entire city. They also list goals for 220. Replace the model year of 2001 first line pumper assigned to the engine. Increase the department's manpower from 99 to 107. Replace the fire alarm division 2006 bucket truck. Replace all apparatus floor drains and grates. Add apparatus bay to accommodate the ladder truck and Engine 5 quarter. Take back the EMS dispatch from MyCon and staff 1 FD ambulance. 2019's goals for the health department. Provide education and encourage the community to support active living and healthy eating. Provide continuing education for all staff. Reduce cancer rates through smoking cessation initiatives. Continue to improve the relationship with residents, business owners, and employees in an effort to maintain safe and healthy environment. Enhance employees' wellness programs to improve morale and health and overall health. Increase the level of safety in the health department office by providing barriers between the public and staff. Purchase a remote health inspection program and tablets for REH. And they have some 2,000 goals, which is replace computers and vehicles in 2020 and 21. Department of Information and Technology. Create both a public and private network to use at City Hall. Refresh our website, hackensack.org. Going paperless. Obtain tablets to eliminate the amount of paper consumption for city managers, clerk, and council. Offer technology classes for seniors through Recreation and Cultural Arts Department. Recreation, ensure that all phone line security systems, video outputs devices are installed correctly and functioning properly. Upgrade and refresh servers. Develop a 5-year plan to refresh workstations for city employees. Have a video system installed in council chambers to show presentations. Johnson Park Library. Replace several pieces of aging technology, including computers damaged by roof leak. Upgrade the phone system. Increase staff programming dedicated to youth and bilingual services. Expand partnership offering such a social network intern program, Bergen County Community Turning Point intern program. Continue working on the renovation plans in anticipation of applying for grant funds from the state library. Our municipal court. hold court 3 times a week instead of 2. This would accommodate the schedules but be more flexible to the public and more efficient in resolving matters. We would not have an overcrowding sessions. Safety, install ballistic glass around the perimeter of the office, especially payment and inquiry windows. Replace window dressings, wood work, cubicles, and new carpet. Our newly formed parking utility. 2019 goals. Have a smart meter fully installed and operational in all proposed areas. Have a pay-by-phone app. Have a digital permitting for monthly permits, digital chalking through the city. Have a license plate reader on vehicles for more efficient enforcement. Restore parking lot E. Increase our revenue to hit the $1,750,000. There's also goals for the future to create parking to help the HPAC, increase our parking enforcement and revenue, increase parking lot fees to $1, that's in 2020, and additional park areas near the hospital. Personnel. Have the city complete updates of the city employee handbook, complete updates of the city personnel policies and procedures, complete revisions of the city's salary ordinance, supervision courses for department heads and supervisors, digitally archive our older personnel files for easier access, create a public works policy and procedure forms for new hires, revise the pump station manual, update the fire department's new hire application. Police department. New police and fire radio system, increase manpower, promote for sergeants in patrol, promotions for lieutenants to fill upcoming and near future retirements, additional training for all officers, succession planning, community policing. Requests from division commanders, additional manpower, update uniforms, youth additional sergeants needed for manpower, narcotics additional 3 detectives and another sergeant, Detective Bureau additional sergeant, BCI upgrade 10 cars and 3 gig modem, update the desktop computer. Public Works. Lower the expenses by assessing current vendors. Pump stations, evaluate for cleaning and maintenance, institute a new maintenance procedure. Continue to improve morale amongst employees. Increase educational fund, institute a pesticide licensing training and backhoe training for employees. Installation of community garden. Acquire new equipment for new front load garbage truck, new chipper, and new mason dump. Acquire a new camera technology system for the sewer department. Increase security at the DPW office location. Have various improvements done to the DPW facility. Perform more vehicle repairs at our DPW premise. Expand garbage collection to twice a week, all year round pickup. Work with the recycling coordinator to allocate for recycling bins that would be distributed throughout the residence. Project managers. Effective management of funds projects. Organize project management database and office. Develop a successful project management department. Implement a strategy to assess city infrastructure. Effectively manage city-funded projects and assess collaboration with relevant departments with the concept through design, bid, award, construction, and closeout of maintenance. Create a project management manual to include guidelines, checklists, delineate process and protocols. Documents. Document controls, coordination of resources, organize existing files. Have hard copies as well as electronic copies of all surveys, contracts, plans, and specs and maps. Our recreation department. After-school arts and crafts for children. Technology workshops for seniors and smartphone use. Senior activities, bingo, games, books, and clubs. Set up a senior transport working with the county. Adult intramural sports leagues, volleyball, and basketball. Formalize the Office of Redevelopment. This is the redevelopment goals for 2019. Focus attention on key public projects like downtown open space and park. Implement downtown public amenities, technology, Wi-Fi, bike share, kiosks. Update the entire city code to ensure and reflect current city goals and values. Beautify Main Street, intersecting cross streets in anticipation of new residents. Beautify Anderson Street, Linden, and other streets, transit-related areas. Develop and rework plans for Johnson Park to include dome, greenhouse, and boat launch. Devote city resources to arts, creative placemaking in the downtown. Tax assessor. Being responsive to the city residents always and keeping the door open for inquiries of citizens regarding to their assessment or any other issues that can be answered. Diminish commercial tax court refunds. Doing our part of the tax assessor by stabilizing the tax rate of the city as much as we have in the last few years. Last year's refund only $500,000 out of $112 million paid by 1,500 commercial properties to the city, the largest commercial base in Bergen County. Keeping the average resident's taxpayer bill the lowest in the area, currently $8,493, which is the 7th lowest in Bergen County out of 70 Bergen Community District. Commercial base, approximately 63% of the overall tax bill for the city. Tax collector. Obtain a bill counter for the support of mixed denominations to increase efficiency of 100% counterfeit detection. Cash collection exceeded $1 million per year. Portable payment stations in City Hall for credit card payments. Install ballistic glass at the counter where payments and inquiries are made. Security camera for employee parking lot across the street. Replace a very old concierge board for the City Hall lobby that would become digital. Councilwoman von Rudenberg's goals. Develop a working relationship between the Board of Education. Identify ways to share services. Create a written plan regarding space needed for the Board of Education. Continue working with the Board of Education to maintain proper protocol regarding residency requirements. Utilize open space and community gardens. Adopt a spot program, which includes establish a written policy regarding the community gardens and adopt a spot initiative. Identify secure 2 city-owned parcels of land that can support a community garden. Identify and secure 4 city-owned parcels of land that would be adopted by local landscapers. Hold a community day where various planet-friendly vendors, river keepers, Suez, will attend, sponsor, and volunteer, will participate, recognize residents for various green activities, planting trees, seedlings, and recycling. Increase the community engagement through the city of Hackensack. Conduct a community survey regarding different events residents would like. Establish the community engagement committee. Establish the relationship of various print online vendors, BC/201 magazine. Councilman Battaglia. Tax relief for residents. Development of working relationship between the city and the Board of Education. Redevelopment incentives. Parking garage controls speeding throughout the city. Sports facility, PSE&G improvements to street lights. Improve the infrastructure of sewers and paving safety issues. Deputy Mayor Sims. Have 2 Department of Public Works employees assigned to each ward to handle any cleanup that may occur. Shopping carts removal, down trees, branches, and etc. Continue to improve services during snow removal. Improve police monitoring of street sweeping days. Improve safety controls at all of our railroad crossings. Improve pothole repairs. Improve street sweeping efforts and repair time to existing equipment. Hire additional sweeper operators for the DPW. Monitor overnight parking of commercial vehicles. Credit card payments for the recreational department programs. Update yellow curb lines on city streets and add additional curb your dog signs throughout the city. Deputy Mayor Catastrino. Establish a new financial goal of 0% increase the municipal tax levy for the next 5 years. Research and define new sources of revenue for the city. Better manage city accounts receivable. Reevaluate all city tax exempt properties. Explore potential host community agreements. Establish contracts for building department outside services to handle peak flows and review inspections of new construction continues in the city. Define a proactive process for building the department property management. Establish bi-monthly engineering management reports provided to all bills list. Complete the two-way Main Street conversion. Define and implement a plan of citywide sewer separation. Define the vision and plan of commercial growth for the city. Define rehab and redevelopment plan for the non-hospital properties in a recently designated rehab zone project to the railroad to Essex and Beach. Assess a plan for parking needs in the downtown. Ensure community involvement and feedback in evaluating potential services to be provided to our parks and to our new recreational facility to ensure that all is provided in a cost-effective manner which meets the needs of the residents, and a partnership with shared services. To expand shared services with the county and research and implement. Mayor LaBrosse, enhance employee handbook to include confidentiality clause, continue to strive to eliminate lawsuits, focus on the redevelopment of the industrial area, provide in-service training and direction to staff and council members, define terms of redevelopment. Request input from professionals on windows of opportunity for redevelopment pilots for residential projects. Work with the county in relaxing and eliminating the blue laws in Hackensack to move forward with the sports park facility in Johnson. And last, city manager's goals. Support the staff initiatives and supervisory training. Complete an update and proper documentation of the city's digital tax maps so that we meet the New Jersey state standards. Redesign the city's website to be more user-friendly. Locate a new location for the building and land use department. Implement a building security plan for the city. Lower workers' comp claims. Lower our overall cost and deductible for the JIF insurance. Completion of all city employee contracts for 2019 effectively and efficiently. Completion of the two-way conversion of Main Street. Plan, bond, and fund a global sewer and stormwater separation plan to reduce city flooding. And combine police department and fire department dispatch. This is a lot of information that's been basically directed to you folks. Obviously, one of the reasons why we have this publicly is I want to get input from the public if there's goals that we missed or things that we need to do to be inclusive of our community. Obviously, I think that we have a pretty good fix and understanding what the needs are for the city, because some of us are here maybe sometimes more than the residents, because we're here for quite a period of time. However, you know the city better than all of us because you live here. So the point is, we're trying to make sure that we have all of those bases covered. So if there's questions of the public here, well, first that'll be up to the mayor and council if they want to make their comments first. But at some point in time, I'd like to get some feedback from the public if there's things that they either have questions on. If you look into the audience, virtually every department head that works for the city is here and present. They could answer questions if I can't. I think I can, but it was nice of them to join us. And if there's any issue that you need to bring to my attention, please do, and I'll just slide out of the way here. Mayor?
Okay.
Maybe we should get from the public first.
Yeah, why don't we open to the public first? I need a motion to open to the public.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Anybody from the public who'd like to speak, please come forward and give your name and address to the clerk.
You limiting it to 3 minutes?
3 minutes.
3 minutes, okay.
Good afternoon. John Evans, Lincoln Street. What I didn't see covered here were any goals, either past or future, for the finance department. And a couple of months ago, your controller came before the COW and mentioned that there was an issue with reconciliations, and RECs, as everybody knows, is a very basic financial and operational control. And the auditors had pointed out that there was the recs on the escrows accounts had not been completed or reconciled, and that there was work to be done. And I thought at the time also that you should make sure that all of your recs are being, properly attended to. So that was just one issue, but I noticed from the 2017 audit there were recommendations, and that's why I wondered why finance department, other than of course tax collector, is not covered here.
Okay, we're fortunate, Mr. Magan's here, our CFO, I think he could answer that.
Yeah, the finance department was covered. It's called auditing department. That's why we don't use the term finance. Okay, but just so you know, the auditing goals are the finance goals. And in terms of the reconciliation that you're talking about, yeah, that was in the 2017 audit corrective action plan, and we had spoken about this at the finance committee. We have roughly 426 developers' escrow bank accounts that hadn't been reconciled since 2011. We started working on this actually in 2016, and it's still not completed. We're still working on it. But you'll recall we gave an update on that at the 2 finance committee meetings ago. But to answer your question, the finance goals were covered under the auditing section. Okay.
So what is the goal for?
Yeah, that should be.
What's the time frame? Sorry.
Yeah, I would imagine that we would probably have that done in the next 6 months or so.
And are there any other reconciliation, any other recs that are behind?
No,
Bank recs?
No.
Just
just the escrow. Again, that's because there are 426 of them. So what we're trying to do is weed out the ones that are dormant, get rid of them, because we don't have 426 active projects in the city. We probably have closer to about 150 to 200, right? But they all have to be reconciled.
Are you anticipating any write-offs?
You're right. Oh yeah, it'll be substantial write-offs.
Substantial.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
And so, and when will you report that back to the public?
I didn't want to get into a back and forth.
The COW or?
Yeah, we can't do a write-off without a council resolution. Okay?
Thank you.
Any other? Okay.
Thank you.
Lynn Horowitz, 326 Prospect Avenue.
Ma'am?
I have just 2 questions because obviously this is something that needs to be studied. One, there was mention of resurrecting the rent board. You reappointed. I thought we always had a rent board, a rent stabilization board.
We did have a rent stabilization board, but it kind of went defunct on us, and we reinstituted it just recently this year.
And are you following the
This past year.
guidelines that were there before?
I would hope so. I'm not involved with the rent stabilization boards, and I don't oversee it, but Jim again can add to that. He's
That's all
involved.
right.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The other thing, I noticed that you mentioned Anderson Street as a redevelopment area. That's a particular interest of mine. When Casimir's closed, there was something else built there. And the building, the structure is quite ugly. I don't think there's a window in the building. And if we're going to look at that kind of redevelopment, I would really appreciate somebody, thinking about making those sites a little bit more pleasant. It's really a very unpleasant looking building. I don't know if you, Mayor, if you're aware of it.
I haven't, to be honest with you, Ms. Hurwitz, I haven't seen it since there was plywood up there for the longest time, and I haven't seen what the finished product
If we're going
is.
to do redevelopment on Anderson Street, and we're really serious about that, I think that the Board of Adjustment and the Planning Board need to make a resolve that when people come before them, they should really think clearly about what's ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. And I would add to that, what probably should be instituted is something similar to what we have on Main Street, which is, there's a design standard that needs to be followed as part of the redevelopment, so I'm in agreement with that. Sir?
Richard Zolkin, Hackensack, New Jersey. I think one of your goals going forward should be candor and credibility, and I have an issue. I was reading Tap into Hackensack, which of course is that bastion of investigative reporting and objective coverage, and I saw with glaring, blazing headline, Canestrino lays out pilot plan at COW, Committee of the Whole. I don't call it Cal meeting. I'm a traditionalist. Committee of the Whole meeting. And I read it, and I think I've spoken a couple of times at these meetings regarding the State Street redevelopment, the Meridia Metro 100 State Street project, which was instituted by the prior council. I had particular interest at one point. I know there was a disagreement between the city and the developer regarding whether remediation costs should be included, because under the formula then, the city was entitled to 2% of the construction costs. You've gone a different direction, and that's absolutely right. But I had opened the materials regarding payments, tax and pilot payments going back to the redevelopment. And when I read this article, it alluded to the March 12th council meeting, Committee of the Whole meeting, which I did not attend, but I went and looked online. And the same comment, Deputy Mayor Canestrino, was that the payment in 2018, the pilot payment was $266,000. Under the new amended agreement, it's $468,000. I said, wow, I really underestimated you all these years. You are one heck of a negotiator to get a businessman to hand over an additional $200,000. God bless you. But what happened was I looked at the Oprah materials and I saw all the payments. And what you didn't state publicly when you did your victory dance was that the city was collecting taxes on that property. And the taxes the city was collecting last year was $221,000. So on top of the then pilot payment, that came out to $487,000, which I think you'll agree is higher than the $469,000 in the new allegedly improved deal. Now, did you not know it was collecting taxes, or did you deliberately not mention it? Because those are the only two choices, Deputy Mayor. Would you like to respond?
Are you finished? I don't want to take your time.
Sure.
Okay. Actually, what the old agreement stated was if they paid land tax, that land tax had to be reimbursed to them. So we actually would have had to pay them back the land tax if we kept that old agreement. We got them to agree, even though we should have had to pay them back for the prior 2 years. When we renegotiated the new one, we got them to agree that we didn't have to, because that was close to what the new payment was going to be when we eliminated the maximum. So truly, that land tax should have been returned to them if you read the initial agreement.
Oh, I did read it, and I disagree with your
Well, that's
statement.
exactly what it says.
No, it's not.
Well, we have a land use attorney that agrees that it says when you pay land tax and you receive a
They
pilot.
were getting credits all. I have the documents.
Excuse me, when you pay land tax and you receive a pilot, that land tax amount has to be subtracted from the pilot agreement, which would have basically made the pilot agreement zero. And, well, that's the truth. I don't know, Mr. Kleinman, if you're familiar enough to comment, but that's the truth. So we truly owed them for those 2 years, which we got them to agree to let us maintain that information, or keep that money, and in addition, lifted all of there were ceilings on the old agreement that said they didn't have to pay more than $1,200, regardless of what the rents would become.
Well, I understand
We got
that per
that.
unit.
Let me finish. I'm
All right.
speaking. You said
Yeah,
you're
you're doing a
finished.
filibuster, and what you're saying is just an absolute.
It's
We're not gonna have back and
absolutely-
forth, guys.
it is-
Documents I have.
And it's absolutely the truth. If you read the agreements, that's the way pilots work. If they pay land tax, they must be reimbursed that land tax from the agreement.
Yeah, and I would obviously defer to Mr. Nelson, our specialist in this area. That's my general understanding, but I don't profess to be an expert of it.
That's the law.
Okay. Afternoon. Howard Hurwitz, 326 Prospect Avenue. Want to speak a little bit about flooding in Hackensack. I think you should be aware that I guess earlier this week, the governor signed a bill which allows municipalities to establish a stormwater utility, which would allow them to tax basically on impermeable property and to collect money to be used for stormwater abatement. And I wondered whether the city was thinking about going that route.
The answer is yes. We're
Thank-
going to research that. Obviously, it's a brand.
It's only, yeah, one
Right,
day
right.
old or something.
You're going to give us a couple days to.
Okay,
So,
you
rain-
remember
the rain
that,
tax.
Yes.
the newspaper articles called it a rain tax, but that really isn't, it's impermeable property tax. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
With that, I'd like to point out that we're, really focusing on impervious surfaces and, trying to get as much new green space in town to help with drainage, and also some of the work that's going up on the hill from the hospital project that's instituted into that will help with some of the flooding, plus the pump stations and the new, I can't remember what you guys call them, the duckbill
Right, for Sheeny Park.
backflow preventers, which will help with some of it as well. But flooding is a big issue in this town. We're a riverfront community on a tidal river, and I don't know that you would ever eliminate flooding completely, but we need to manage it as best that we can. Next, please.
Peter Marquezani, Davis Avenue, Hackensack. As a senior citizen, I want you to know that I gave up my afternoon nap today in order to come here and just say a word of thanks to our public servants. We really appreciate all the work they do. It's not easy. I know the last time, I don't know whether they were dragged in kicking and screaming, but I think last year everybody was here on a Saturday morning. That was terrible. But at least here, hopefully, around the clock. But thank you for all you do. This does look like a lot of it like a wish list. I'm sure there's a lot more priorities to be put in order. I would think that, for example, if the Fairmont area needs a ladder truck, that would get some priority. Police and fire manpower, obviously significant. Other things on the list, a little bit maybe less important. And so I know going forward, I have a lot of confidence, as I'm sure, a lot of the people in the city do. As the old adage goes, absence or silence gives consent. So, as you know, when you don't hear from the people, they're happy. Maybe I'm sticking my neck out, but I would say they're happy. There's been a lot going on in the city in the last few years, and net, it is very, very positive. And everybody I speak to seems to be very pleased with the pace of the progress and the things that are happening. I get all kinds of questions on what's going on. What's being dug up, what's being paved or not being paved. Matter of fact, I think I have to rip up my driveway now and put in crushed stone so I eliminate the water runoff. But that's another opportunity, I guess, where the city will certainly get a lot of feedback once the state, formalizes a lot of the process. So thank you all for all your hard work. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Marquezani. Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
I'd like to afford the opportunity to any department head, if they'd like to get up and make any comments about their goals or their department. I'm sure that mayor and council would entertain that for at least 3 minutes, so.
Absolutely. Any
you get a-
department
you-
head
you
or
get a whack
employee,
at it, so-
Anybody who wants to speak, come on up. More than welcome.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up the fact that because several departments and several council members talked about flooding, and flooding is big, in Hackensack. And in the finance or the auditing department, we had 3 goals, and the third one was to adopt a long-term financial plan to address flooding issues, because a lot of things have happened recently. And if I could, I just want to run through what I wrote on that goal, because all you get is the blurb, okay? But the goal was to adopt a long-term financial plan to address flooding issues. And in 2018, we identified numerous factors that contribute to flooding in various sections throughout the city. In 2019, we will develop a comprehensive financial strategy to address flooding, similar to the strategy we employed in 2014 to address the city's significant tax appeal refund liability. Among the components of the strategy would be a significant increase in the number of road paving and road improvements, regularly scheduled sewer cleanings, a capital program to replace all catch basins throughout the city, a campaign to push for the passage of the stormwater utility fee legislation to provide needed revenue to improve our stormwater collection disposal. This was written before the governor signed the legislation. The commissioning of a Fashini Park flood mitigation study and improvement plan to be financed through the new City of Hackensack open space tax, and a long-term financial plan funded by the New Jersey Environmental Infrastructure Trust Fund to finally separate all of the city's combined sewers. And components of this plan would include an assessment of the Court Street drainage area, which is already in the works and will actually be on the agenda for Tuesday's meeting. An assessment of the Anderson Street drainage area, continued talks in partnership with Hackensack University Medical Center to ensure and achieve flooding relief in their new development project, and finally, the continued inclusion of flood relief measures in the various redevelopment projects as a condition of approval, which is something that we've been doing for the last couple of years, and it was just a continuation of that. Flooding is important. Ted and I have been talking about flooding in earnest over the last 6 months because there are a lot of various components to it. And in terms of quality of life, it really is significant. So you're going to see a big push. You know, jokingly we refer to 2019 as the year of the flood, but yeah, that was kind of passé. But you'll be hearing more about that throughout the year.
All right,
Okay.
good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Very good. Anybody else?
I wasn't
have it.
really prepared to do this, but I guess I can't miss an opportunity to
No, you're good at the
come up
mic,
and,
come on.
and say my piece. No, but I honestly, you guys have heard this before, but you know, I have to thank all of you sitting up there, and I have to thank this gentleman here. You know, I've been doing this business. I hate to say this, but I'm with the department 35 years now, and the last 10 or so as the chief. And it wasn't easy in the beginning, but over time it got a little easier to prioritize and set our goals. And what I do appreciate is you people listening and understanding what we do, why we do what we do, and why we need what we need. And it's not for our own personal gain or our own personal gratification. It's to protect our citizens here the best that we can do it. I know that's your goal, and it's our goal also. City manager is always very open. You know, I happen to crash his office every couple mornings a week just to keep him updated on things that are going on. Because another thing people don't understand is the fire department, as the police department, the fire department is a 24/7 operation. You know, if you talk about the needs that we have, you could really quantify it as saying we need probably 5 or 6 times more what a regular department would need, a regular, you know, health department or a building department or a department that's only open for 8 or 10 hours a day. So sometimes our needs seem a little bit large, but I just want people to understand it's a 24/7, 365 operation. So everything gets that much more wear and tear on it. We need that much more supplies, and like I said, it's all for the good of this city. And we've been very fortunate with our grant opportunities. Not to put him on the spot, but Deputy Chief Nyland. He's our OEM coordinator. He's also my right-hand man. He's very, very good at searching out and finding grants. A lot of the stuff that you see that we've purchased through grant money that we've received, which, you know, you elected officials allowed us to pursue, so I thank you for that, but we've been pretty successful with that. So not all of what you see here comes out of, you know, the city's funds necessarily. Each opportunity we have to get a grant, we do, and we've been very successful. These Petzl devices, the thermal imaging cameras, these were all acquired through grants. Small matching fund on the city's part, but a 10% match on the products that we get that keep us safe is a small price to pay. So I'll leave it at that, but we still have continuing goals. We're still you know, trying to keep our manpower up. You know, the city's not getting any smaller. We're doing over 7,000 calls a year. So we're not getting any slower, and things are going to get busier, and we're going to be, you know, covering more areas and more residents, and it's all good, and it's great for the city, and we just continue to grow with it. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Ever competitive, I can't. But
what can I say that Chief Freeman hasn't said, but I will. I'll say thank you, and I'll say what the chief said in a little different way. Universally, and maybe more so here in Hackensack, everybody is asked to do more with less. And that's exactly what's being asked, and that's what all of the departments are delivering here. And I would like to just thank the men and women of the police department for the effort that they do put forward. And it does come back to a lot of grants, a lot of funding, going ahead and doing the job and staying the course and getting the job done. And it wouldn't be without this mayor, this council, this city manager, and all of the support of all the departments heads and the citizens of the city of Hackensack. So I just want to thank everybody for that opportunity that I've been here. I have 33 years of law enforcement, but 9 going on 10 months here in the city of Hackensack as a police director, and I appreciate the opportunity, and we're going to just keep this going forward. So thank you again.
Thanks, Jack. Great. Island, I thought you were going to talk. You got up. Come on, Tara.
How's everybody today?
For those who don't know who this young lady is, Tara is our new librarian, director of our library.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm the newish director of the Johnson Public Library. I started in November, so I'm pretty new to Hackensack. And the library functions a little bit differently than the other departments. I report to the library board. But what we do have in common is we all serve the residents of Hackensack to the best of our ability. And I just wanted to thank the council, first of all, for being so supportive of the library, but also the library had a flood in our basement last Sunday. Last Sunday was a really long day for us. And I just wanted to thank especially the fire department and the Department of Public Works for really coming to our aid on a Sunday when the lower level of our building was filling up with water. The flood's all cleaned up and the library is fine. We didn't lose any collection or computers or have any electrical damage, and part of that was because they helped us respond to it so quickly. So I just wanted to say thank you. I also want to brag in the library a little bit. We were voted one of the runners-up for Best of Bergen 2019. The other libraries that won were ones with some would say more resources. Paramus, Hillsdale, and Ridgewood. Most of those are libraries with a much larger budget than ours. And that was a survey that the public voted on. So we were nominated and voted on by the public. So we should all be really proud of that the residents really love their library. I also think we're the most beautiful building on Main Street. So if you haven't been in the library in a while, I hope that you come and visit us. But thank you again for your support, and I've really enjoyed working in Hackensack for the last few months, and I look forward to serving you all for a really long time. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Tara. Appreciate it. Anybody else? No takers, huh? All right. Need a motion to close to the public?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. With that, public is closed. Mrs. Von Rudenberg?
I just want to thank everyone for being here, and just a huge thank you to our city manager and all the department heads and our clerks and staff and everyone. You guys do an amazing job, and I appreciate all the hard work you guys put into everything. I'm sure the whole council does. And I've had the privilege of working pretty much with every department here in some capacity or another over the past year and a half, and I have to say with confidence that it's not a job to you guys. You could tell that there's real passion and dedication and hard work to all the projects that we're trying to complete, and it really, really shows. And I know I appreciate it. I'm sure the citizens of Hackensack appreciate it. And I know today is an extra step, and it's a little bit time-consuming to come up with these agendas and goals and objectives, but it's nice to see it in writing, because as we went through them, I kind of went through it and made notes and saw how much they're, in common the different departments have. There's so many goals that we all share, and it's nice to see that, and it's nice to work together. It kind of puts it on paper and lays it out in a way that we could kind of use each other's resources and expertise to accomplish our goals together for the city of Hackensack. So thanks to Ted and to everyone here and the different departments, because you guys really do a great job, and I'm proud to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thanks, Steph. Of course, I have to echo what she said. I mean, where would we be without the wonderful staff that we have, and that's making the city really shine? And we, the council, appreciate all of your efforts each and every day, as do, I'm sure, all of the residents that live in the community. I think it was Chief Freeman that said everyone's been asked to work smarter, cheaper, etc. And it's obvious that everyone is stepping up to the plate. And that's so much appreciated by this entire council and by all of our residents as well. You guys are doing a great job, and everyone's pulling together and doing the right thing for the city. And I think going through this whole goal-defining process is important, not only to set our new goals for next year, but to feel good about what we've accomplished. I mean, a lot of the focus is on where we're going, but let's not forget where we've been and how far we've come, because that's a tribute to all of the employees of the city. Because none of this would have happened without you behind us and following the vision set by the council and by Ted, our city manager. Ted, where would we be without you? I mean, someone at the helm that can provide this kind of vision and this kind of direction is what's made us the success that we are today as a city. So again, Ted, thanks to you. I can't help but I have to say something a little bit about the finance department, because the individual that stood up and said, how come we didn't hear anything about the finance department? And I have to give a lot of credit to the finance department. I mean, the majority of this council, 4 of us have been here more than 5 years, and, you know, Steph has been here for the last year or so. And when we came in financially, we worked well with our finance department in setting 5-year goals. And, you know, if you remember, municipal tax rates prior to this council coming in were all over the place. I mean, you saw spikes of 10%, 8%, up and down. And what the goals that we set together with the finance department was we had a real 5-year plan that we were going to control those spikes, and we were going to set a threshold first of a 4%, which we met and achieved, and then down to 2%, which we met and achieved. So we should be, as an entire city, not just the finance department, but every employee that's sitting here contributed to that major goal, that we were able to stabilize our municipal tax rate and bring it down from scattered to 4 to 2. And now with the new 5 years, that's where our new goal is coming out. And it's a tough goal. I mean, we're setting a goal saying we're going to try and keep the municipal tax rate flat, municipal tax levy flat for the next 5 years, no increase. And, you know, hopefully we make it every year. We're going to try our darndest. But, you know, what good are setting goals if they don't make you stretch? So that's a real stretch goal. But again, it's attributed to everyone that works for the city, and thanks to all of you that came out today to support those initiatives as well.
Thank you. Sir?
I want to thank all the city workers. Without you, none of our goals could have been met. So on behalf of this council, I thank you and salute you. Some of the goals that this council has met when we first came into office 5 years ago, garbage trucks, we got garbage trucks, jet sewers, street sweepers. One of our biggest goals was to finish the HVAC. The rec center, which will be finished in 3 or 4 months, a dog park, the greenhouse, the sports zone. So we are truly a city in motion, and thank you for being patient as our goals are met. Good night.
As a resident of Hackensack, like close to 50 years, I see how the city been moving in the last few years. That is no question that is due to the effort of all the departments of the city, DPW, police, financial departments. Ted is doing a good job. There's no question that without your effort, we don't be here. And I hope that we continue working together, because it's the only way they can bring the city forward. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Leo. Well, I'm going to reiterate what was said. Kudos to all our department heads, all of our employees that are here today. We can't do what we do without you. And, you know, we put a plan together. Sometimes plans aren't always easy. Ted's very big on plans and sticking to his guns on things. But we've accomplished a lot over the last few years. It's been incredible. And kudos to you, Ted. And thanks to you. Special thanks to, where's Albert? Albert Deb with redevelopment. This guy has stepped up as head of economic and redevelopment in the city of Hackensack and done an incredible job. His reputation now with developers is, they like working with him, which makes life easy for us. Our clerks who work for the council, Debbie and Allison, I thank you. You've done a great job through the years. I know you guys get hit with all kinds of crazy things and curveballs thrown at you all the time, but you do a great job, and I thank you for that. Again, thanks to all you employees, department heads. It's never easy, but you guys are doing a great job. Some of the things I talked about, or one of the things I heard about today, which I liked, was the technology part of bringing Hackensack a little forward. As far as technology goes, tablets to create, using less paper, killing less trees would be a great thing. Putting a big screen in here for not just for council meetings, but for planning board and zoning board purposes is a big plus. They have to bring all these easels in, and being able to show the plans digitally on a screen would be wonderful, and it would be moving us forward. I also spoke about, in my part, one of my goals is, we have another area of town that is underdeveloped, and it's old, and it's a lot of mom and pop industrial sites, and that's an area that we need to focus on in the future. That area is ripe for the picking as far as redevelopment goes. It's especially for the new type of development that's out there, which is a lot of high-tech stuff and life sciences and medical stuff, which would fit into us having a large hospital like Hackensack University Medical Center would be great for this area. I'm looking forward to moving all these projects that are coming out of the ground forward. Things are really starting to change now. 150, 170, as you look at it, is literally growing every day when you go by it. It's great to see. It took a while. Plans work, folks. Plans, when we got in, we put a plan together, and a perfect example of how plans work, and I'll give this credit to Kathy and Jim, is the tax appeals issue we had. It's something we didn't know we were going to have, but we had it. And we didn't back down from it. We came up with a great, three-phase plan to do it over 7 years each time. And how many years do we have left? 2 years, so 30,
The first
30,
one, and then-
33, yeah,
More
the
on
first
the
one,
others.
yeah. So 33 million, the first phase, is 2 years left in it, and we're staying right on target with that. And it forced us to do other things, to be, think outside the box a little bit when we went with the rolling assessments to make sure people, houses are at 100% assessment as much as possible, so it keeps down the tax appeals, even though we still do get some tax appeals. But you saw through our tax assessors department that the commercial properties are paying about 60-something% of our taxes in this city, which is, pretty good for the residential folks. So again, thanks again to everybody. Great job, Ed, great presentation. Appreciate everybody staying a little late today, but it was only a little over an hour, so it wasn't too bad. So thank you, guys. Motion to close the meeting?
Offer.
Do you need to go into closed session at all, or no?
Do we?
Did we?
I didn't know if.
You have anything?
did.
I don't think there's anything that can't wait till next week.
Okay, that works for me.
So then, the motion was offered by
Kathy.
and seconded?
All in favor? Aye. None opposed. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for this opportunity.